Hello, everyone. Welcome to the sixth edition of Polio Talks, a unique platform to discuss important topics about polio and our program in Rotary, helping world to be a better place for all of us. Today, this evening, we have with us a distinguished guest speaker, our past president and also a chair of Rotary Foundation in this Rotarian year, Mark Maloney. Mark Maloney is a member of the law firm of Blackburn, Maloney and Shepard, LLC, focusing on taxation, estate planning, and agricultural law. He represents large farming operations in southeastern and Midwest United States. A member of the Rotary Club of Decatur, Alabama, USA since 1980, Mark is currently serving as a chair of trustees of the Rotary Foundation. Mark served as a Rotary International President during 2019-2020, when he successfully advocated for the addition of the environment as a seventh area of focus. Mark also emphasized strategies to grow Rotary, presided over the first virtual RI convention that was organized during the COVID-19 pandemic, and increased awareness of Rotary's long-standing relationship with United Nations. Mark's wife, Gay, is an attorney in the same law firm and a charter member and the past president of the Rotary Club of Decatur, Daybreak, Alabama, USA. Gay and Mark have two daughters, one honorary daughter, and two grandsons. Very short presentation of very important and very big person in front of us, not just physically, but also as a true Rotarian person. And Mr. President, thank you very much for having time to be with us. And thank you very much for having time in this finishing period of your year to encourage us much more and to discuss with us how far and how close we are to ending polio. And also to remind us again and again why it's important to deal with polio as a commitment to ourselves, but also, as you mentioned, as a commitment to the children of the world. So, Mr. President, thank you very much, and the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Nicola. It is my pleasure to be with you, with all of these great Rotarians here today. I see that there's a wide variety from Southeastern Europe, from the Middle East, and we've even got one from Ontario, maybe 70, 80, and Ontario and Canada. That's great. I appreciate it. And there's I see Africa on there as well. And I'm very flattered that you all are here to participate in this morning. I am sitting in my office in our law firm here in Decatur, Alabama this morning, where it is still morning. And I have a pause in Rotary travel until I leave for Calgary in 3.5 weeks. Right now, we are facing a very challenging period in the polio eradication saga, in our journey to eradicate polio. And even Mike McGovern, the chair, past Rotary International Vice President, past trustee, and chair of the International Polio Plus Committee, who has now been serving in that position for 10 years, says that this is the most challenging period that he has experienced in his term as chair. We have multiple challenges. We have seen a surge in cases in 2024 after only 10 cases of wild virus polio in Afghanistan and Pakistan in 2023. We experienced 99 cases in those two countries in 2024. And as of the most recent report seen by me last week, there are 10 cases, 2 in Afghanistan and 8 in Pakistan so far this year. We have a situation in Afghanistan where the supreme leader has declared our friend from the Rotary Club needs to mute himself. The supreme leader has declared and forbidden house-to-house immunization. In Pakistan, conflict, terrorism, instability is preventing us from reaching every last child in the country in certain regions. And in the United States, we have seen changes in governmental funding for international development that is impacting our polio eradication efforts. But I would like to suggest to you that we should not despair. Do not despair. We have faced challenges before. Before polio was eradicated in India, there was a huge spike in cases just the year before. When polio was eradicated wild virus polio was eradicated in Nigeria, we had passed through a spike in cases. We should not stand around wringing our hands and thinking to ourselves, what are these people doing? Why are they doing this? We simply need to face the new realities, the current realities, and those realities will change. And we need to address the facts as they exist now and work to operationalize polio eradication efforts despite the challenges. And we are seeing that. With the blessing of the health minister in Afghanistan, while we do not have house-to-house immunization campaigns, we do have street-to-street immunization campaigns where vaccination teams go into each street and announce themselves. They cannot go up onto the door and knock on the door, but they can announce themselves, bullhorns, and for families to bring out their children. Of course, not every family will do that, but it's a much better situation than we were afraid it would be with only site to site or mosque to mosque immunization campaigns. In Pakistan, we're now several months past the last election. The polio structure is stabilizing. Our president-elect and our trustee chair-elect plan to visit Pakistan in the near future, perhaps even before the end of this Rotary year, and meet with the governmental leaders and perhaps most importantly, the Chief of the Army Staff to impress upon them what needs to be done to have effective immunization campaigns. And just within the last 2 weeks, the most recent national immunization campaign was completed. And I have been told by those in the know that this was the highest quality immunization campaign that has occurred in Pakistan within the last 20 years. I think there's still room for improvement, but we are moving in the right direction. And here in the United States, we have Rotarians who for years have been advocating with leaders of the United States Congress to maintain polio eradication funding. And even with budgetary cuts in other areas for fiscal year 24 and for the current fiscal year 25, our government fiscal year ends September 30th. We have been able to maintain the same funding levels that we have had in prior years. Of course, we wanted more, but considering that everyone else was being reduced, the fact that we maintained level funding was good news. And just last week, the members of the United States Polio Eradication Task Force met in Washington and visited with congressional leaders and with staff members to encourage current level funding. And there are challenges there. The funding for polio eradication comes from two different budgets in the United States. One budget goes through the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, whom almost everybody refers to as CDC. And the other budget goes through USAID, the United States Agency for International Development. Well, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention then uses that money for its own purposes, funding the lab, the ultimate authority lab for detecting poliovirus in Atlanta, and then funneling that money through to UNICEF and the World Health Organization. Well, it is clear that the United States government is not going to funnel any money through to the World Health Organization. But we need that line item funding so that that money can move some way through UNICEF, through World Vision, so that we get drops into the mouths of children. It doesn't matter how the money flows. It just matters to get the drops in the mouths of children. And likewise, USAID is being dismantled and some of its activities folded into the United States Department of State. And there, we hope to maintain funding levels there so that some of that funding will continue through. So we are working on this. And while we were in Washington a week ago today, Rotary International hosted a reception for polio eradication champions. And there are two leaders, two United States senators who appeared, and it gives you a sense of the support that polio eradication has. The first of those leaders was the former leader of the Republican Party in the United States Senate, Senator Mitch McConnell from Kentucky. And, you know, he is a leader of the conservative, you know, he is a conservative leader. And before he could, and he is retiring, he's not seeking re-election. So we had recognized him as a polio eradication champion the first year we gave that award. So we gave him a recognition for a Lifetime Achievement Award. And then before Senator McConnell could even leave the room, in walked Senator Richard Durbin, known as Dick Durbin, from Illinois, the leader in the past of the Democratic Party in the United States Senate. And he is not seeking re-election either. And he is on the complete opposite political spectrum from Senator McConnell. Yet both of these senators, one after the other, praised Rotary International and indicated their continuing support for polio eradication. Senator Mitch McConnell is actually a polio survivor. Mm-hmm. And so we do have that sort of support in Congress. Now, I've seen a question in the chat: what is the level of funding? The level of funding that we were able to obtain for this year was $180 million through the CDC budget and $85 million through the USAID budget, for a total of $265 million US. So with the challenges that we face and with the funding uncertainty, not just of the United States government, but the international development budgets of many countries around the world, now more than ever, we need to provide our financial support to Polio Plus. We need to make sure that we raise that $50 million each year, and so that it will be matched by the Gates Foundation 2-for-1. And we're working on a renewal of that agreement with the Gates Foundation to continue that level of match for the next 3 years. There are many challenges, but as I said, we should not despair. We should, and we are, facing the new realities and working within those realities to make sure that we eradicate polio. Together, we end polio. Thank you, Nicola.
Thank you, President. Thank you very much for this inspiring words. But more important, thank you for giving us a new map of the new reality. So it is helping us to understand what is the new challenges in new geopolitical situation. And thank you very much for describing us all activities, even these political activities that Rotary International and Foundation are doing with governments, trying to improve our global fight against polio. It is important not just for End Polio Now coordinators and other zone leaders, but also for governors and Rotarians from Rotary clubs to understood how difficult is situation, but on the other side, how eager is Rotary to deal with the situation, and that is important. So you are encouraging us to continue on our smaller scales to fight this disease and to help our goal be achieved. So now I'm giving floor to all of you. Hakan, you are the fastest.
Yes, thank you very much, Nicola. First of all, I appreciate to you that arranging this meeting, also giving me a chance to meet with my president in this term. I was together with Walter as governor, and Mark was our president in that time. Therefore, that is a good chance for us to see him again. Mainly, as far as the polio is concerned, I believe sustainability of the efforts, engaging communities, also global collaboration is extremely important, as I understand from Mark's presentation. And I know that engaging communications communities are important, because I know one of my colleagues, Fatih, my classmate, also he was together with me together when Mark was president, went to Pakistan together with Aziz Memon, and also they tried to make the vaccination. As far as the community engagement is crucial in vaccination efforts, there should be some kind of innovative approaches that Rotary International has to make. As far as this is concerned, therefore, how we involve this next generation, and also what could be the innovative approaches that Rotary International at the moment is trying to use. This is the one. The second is about global collaboration. As far as I see, Mark very rightly mentioned that there's a big support in USAID, also some other senators, also the people working in Senate is helping for this. But as far as global collaboration is concerned, how does Rotary International collaborate with other organizations, governments, and also health agencies to overcome the challenges? As Mark mentioned, there are some challenges. How overcome these challenges? Because there are some political instability, conflict, logistical barriers, also some kind of inconsistency of the people are not accepting this. This is also important. What role can Rotarians, also Rotary International, play in this advocating these policies as far as the global collaboration is concerned? There are two questions that I raised, Nicola. It's a little bit long, but I just wanted to summarize what I'm trying to explain, also what I'm going to ask. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Hakan. It's great to be with you and Walter, and I see Fatih has joined us as well. That is fabulous. And notice I'm in the tie and jacket from the year. In terms of innovation, there are many innovations depending upon the circumstances. But one innovation that I saw when Gay and I visited Pakistan last September is that in the polio emergency operation centers, and there's one of these emergency EOCs, they call them, emergency operation centers. There's a national center, and then there's a center in each of the four states or provinces of Pakistan. And they are taking the data. They are bringing in big data and, okay, if there are refusals, what is the demographic of the refusal? Are there ages? Are there socioeconomic factors? And they try to categorize where the refusals are, where the missed children are, and using that information, tailor the campaigns to meet those needs. And, there's now GPS and drones to find homes in remote places. And I'm just mentioning a couple, but there are many, many innovations that are being introduced in order to have higher quality immunization campaigns. In terms of working together around the world, we're not just advocating with the United States government. We have advocacy task forces in several countries where there is significant funding, like the United Kingdom, Germany, France, Norway, Australia, and the European Union itself. And I've just mentioned several countries. Please don't be offended if I failed to mention your country where there's an advocacy task force. And in many, many countries, beyond that group, we have an advocacy chair who works within that country, even though it may be without any real committee or task force. One of the points that we emphasized in our visits with congressional staff people last Wednesday in Washington, D.C., was how important it was for the United States government to maintain the current level of funding, to be an encouragement for other countries to do so. If the United States government cuts its funding, other countries will say, well, we can cut ours too. And so in terms of building a consensus around the globe, we are very much involved in doing that. And earlier this year, President Stephanie Yurchik spoke in the Houses of Parliament, and with members of Parliament present, and I'm talking about in London in the United Kingdom. I had the opportunity to do that 5 years ago. In fact, I did that on Tuesday, and then on Thursday, I flew home because COVID would not permit the rest of my travels. So it was right as the world shut down. So those are my responses to your two questions, Hakan.
Well, thank you very much. Also, I do remember that you were just planning to fly from London to Ankara just to attend one of the EAT meeting, but just because of this COVID, we returned back to the States. Thank you very much. All this very informative and explanatory notes for you. Thank you, Mark.
You're welcome.
Let's go to Ramin, if I'm pronouncing well.
Yes, you are. Greetings to all. My name is Ramin Javed. I'm the Rotary District Chair for Afghanistan and also past president and founder of the Rotary Club of Kabul City. And I've also been a Rotary actor in New York and also part of Rotary in the United States. Okay, so I have two requests. First, I would like, I don't know, I'm addressing the panel, so whoever is responsible, I don't know. So this, the Afghanistan, Pakistan, Polio Plus process, us members of the Rotary, as presidents and heads of the Rotary clubs of Afghanistan, we feel that it's more or less an opaque process, and even we don't know what's going on because no one tells us. and this is Afghanistan, and we would like to contribute, but we can't because no, we do not hear anything. We don't see any cooperation from the Rotary Plus in, I'm sorry, from Polio Plus in Afghanistan. So I would like a review on that, a thorough review on what is going on and what the process is, and we need to be part of this. All the club presidents needs to be part of it. That's number one. Number two, I would like, as I understand it, the efforts for Afghanistan and Pakistan is under one. I would like Afghanistan to be separate, and we independently would love to end polio in Afghanistan, and we can, but we don't know who's running what and what is going on. So if we could separate us from Pakistan, that would be much, much better because we can answer for ourselves. Thank you.
Thank you for those comments, Ramin. Would you tell me once again which Rotary Club? You're currently the president of a Rotary Club, is that correct?
I'm founder and charter president of the Rotary Club of Kabul, but I'm also district chair, Rotary Foundation district chair. So I basically represent and Rotary of Afghanistan in many of the zone meetings. In the past 4 years, I've been there. And because I'm the only one, I'm a US citizen in Afghanistan though, but I can travel everywhere and I've been representing Rotary there, everywhere, basically, from Afghanistan, and some of the members of some of the present and former past presidents of the Rotary of Jalalabad and Herat are also on call here. Thank you.
Well, I've taken your information and I'm going to share that comment with the chair of the International Polio Plus Committee. And I'm trying to and I can assure you that the activities between Pakistan and Afghanistan are separate. We have separate Polio Plus committees in those two countries. And both Aziz Memon from Pakistan and Yishak, and I'm trying to come up with his last name. I'm looking through information, and
it's okay, we know him.
Anyway, he is appearing. He does not come in person to International Polio Plus Committee meetings, but he appears via Zoom at every meeting. And even though it may be the evening or in the middle of the night for him, he participates fully in all of our meetings. And I've had the opportunity, during my year as chair of the trustees, to sit in as the liaison trustee with the IPPC. And so it is not just rolled into one. We have separate structures for our polio eradication activities. And he is working very, very hard. But in terms of lack of communication, I will share that, and hopefully we can see some improvement there. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Just to follow up, just 1 second. This is great because we would be more effective from the Rotary clubs of Afghanistan. Would be much more effective if we are if we are in the loop. And the committees, I don't even know who are in the committees. We don't know, anybody in Afghanistan or the Rotary presidents don't know, current presidents don't know who are in the committees. And we are not, although they said that some of the members, and we selected those members from our clubs, 3 clubs that are in Afghanistan, none of them actually are invited into Rotary. So we would like a little bit more transparency in how Rotary Polio Plus functions, and in who are members. And we also want to be part of this, whatever meetings there are, because we could also participate and make this eradication faster, because we all the club presidents and all the club members, that we are eager to end polio in Afghanistan. So aside from the communication, we also want to know who's doing what, who's where, and how, and we want that so that we can also participate in further enrich the program and end polio faster.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Well, there is not going to be a possibility. I mean, I want to just be frank. We can't have club presidents from all the interested clubs in Pakistan, Afghanistan, Nigeria participating in the International Polio Plus Committee meeting. I mean, we have the representative of the, the chair of the Afghan Polio Plus Committee who is there, and we need to have more transparency about what is happening, but we cannot invite every interested person to participate in the meetings of the International Polio Plus Committee.
Thank you, and I will close this topic for now, because there is other hands up. So let's go from Afghanistan to Italy.
Thank you, Nicola. Thank you, Mark, for the update. Actually, I do have a question for you. Is it possible to give us some points for motivation? We are involved now with speech in clubs and in districts, and we do need to update the situation, especially when we communicate about polio and Polio Plus program. So if you can enlighten us and give us some ideas of how to increase our effort to communicate the right situation of polio, and you already gave us the right situation, but how can you suggest us what to say to be inspired, to inspire people that they are listening to us? Thank you.
Well, I do think that a couple of the points that I've already made, that yes, we are facing challenges, but look, we're meeting the challenge. We are stepping up to the moment. As I mentioned, we had in Pakistan within the last 2 weeks the highest quality immunization campaign that we've seen in the country within 20 years. That's very encouraging. That is a reason for inspiration, in my opinion. Plus, in Afghanistan, despite the decree of the supreme leader, we're not doing house-to-house immunization, but we're doing the next best thing with street-to-street immunization. And the health ministry is aware that it's happening, and they are not intervening. The health minister, Mike McGovern, our chair of the International Polio Plus Committee, met in Geneva with for one of the polio eradication groups, I can't remember which, the strategy committee perhaps, and the health minister from Afghanistan was there. And he actually had an episode of some sort and was about to ignore it. And the people there encouraged him, go to the hospital. And in the hospital, he had a heart episode, an artery episode, and they put a stent in and saved his life. And he is most grateful for that. And he recognizes that we are here for the better good of everyone. And I think those are inspirational points that hopefully you can utilize in your presentations. Current information that you don't just know. I mean, of course, one inspiration is we've decreased the number of cases by more than 99.9%, but everybody's heard that statistic. We're tired of hearing that statistic. We want it to be 100.00%. And so perhaps these other stories, anecdotes, they're true, will provide some inspiration.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Mark.
Thank you, Mark.
We are going now to Brian, then to Robert, and to Saad, and we are finishing with the questions.
Thank you very much. I'm Brian Chinene from District 9210, Rotary Club of Matopos in Zimbabwe. My question is mainly on the issue of the funding, looking at the turn of events that is happening with America. That's point number one. And point number two, I heard you saying we have to sign again with Bill Gates. Our agreement with the Bill Gates Foundation, how long is the agreement for? And then the other, I once saw an article that says in 2045, Bill Gates Foundations likely to close. It would want to distribute his all 108 billion to the different foundations. So where does that put us as Rotary, looking in the next 20 years, this might happen, and what do we have that we can be able to work as a strategy so that we don't find ourselves wanting? Thank you.
Well, the length of the agreement with the Gates Foundation is 3 years. The current agreement is 3 years and about to expire, and the next agreement will also be for 3 years, 26 to 29, 2026 to 2029. Now, what was the first question? You said about the funding, United States government, but what was your question about the funding that I didn't discuss earlier?
Okay, I was saying that looking at the turn of events where America was the main funder in these programs, but look, they've been cut. So why does that put us as Rotary in terms of the funding that we've been benefiting through them?
So the question is, in which way
the United States government is the number 2 funder for polio eradication historically, almost $4 billion. I'm sorry, $4.7 billion since 1995. The number 1 funder for polio eradication is the Gates Foundation. Rotary International is the number 3 funder of polio eradication. We're still hopeful to maintain the current level of funding. It just may not come through the traditional channels. We don't know yet. There's all sorts of things going on in Washington, and we have to just, we have to do what we can. We don't just wait and see. We do the best that we can to advocate, but, we can't go in and vote for it ourselves. We have to we have to let our legislative leaders make those decisions. And hopefully we will still have significant funding from the United States. And and maybe the funding will go a different way, and then Rotary will fund a different way, with more to WHO because less is going to WHO from other sources. We don't know yet how to do that, exactly how to do that. Because we don't know what's happening yet for the fiscal year 26 budget. Excuse me. Did I answer all of your questions?
Yeah, no, thank you very much. As I mentioned previous, it's important for us that you are sharing with us all these details of mapping the new normal situation on geopolitics. So and thank you for honestly answering these questions. So let's go to Robert.
Yes, Mark. First off, thanks for the very comprehensive presentation, and you're very approachable. It's just terrific. Look forward to meeting you in Calgary and listening. We've got some big news apparently, and I'd love to shake your hand in Calgary. My question is, further on the Rotary $50 million raised, do we have a corporate strategy for advocacy? If the answer is yes, where do we find that information? And is there any role for us to help attracting corporate support as new advocates, new financial support corporately in Canada, US, and across the world? So I'll turn it back to you. Thanks, Mark.
Okay. At first, I misunderstood what you said by corporate, and then I thought you meant as a whole body. But I am not aware of any real strategy to solicit corporations, business corporations you're referring to,
Yes.
For-profit business corporations to fund polio eradication. We're working with the Gates Foundation, with Gavi, with UNICEF, with WHO, with CDC, and that is where our efforts are. I mean, we do have a policy of advocacy with governments, and and I'm sure we have some corporate contributors to Polio Plus, but they are not the, they're just among the many thousands of contributors to our Polio Plus campaign. And let me put in a plug. I have a raise for Rotary. Last Wednesday was my 70th birthday. And I have a raise. Yes, I've survived for 70 years. And I have a raise for Rotary campaign in support of Polio Plus going right now. I would be thrilled if all of you, I'd be really thrilled if all of you, but I know how that goes. If many of you would either go to raise.rotary.org and find my fundraising campaign, or to go to Mark Maloney on Facebook and scroll down, and you'll find one of my recent posts on this raise for Rotary, and make a contribution to wish me happy birthday, but more importantly, to provide additional funding. And we all need to do that. And even though it's part of my campaign, when you put in your email address that you have on my Rotary, it's going to get credited to you and your club. It's not going to get credited to me. I'm just the cheerleader for this particular fundraising campaign. Robert, thank you for giving me that entree
There you go.
to make that plug for fundraising.
Thank you for rising this opportunity to support ending polio with cheering you also. I would go with the last question, my question. How can you help us doing awareness building in the parts of the world where polio is eradicated a long time ago? And in which way we should deal with anti-vax campaign that it's existing all around the world?
Well, to me, the number one motivation for supporting polio eradication when you are a citizen or resident of a country where polio was eradicated decades ago is the knowledge that if polio is not eradicated everywhere, it can happen anywhere. And that became a stark reality to us in the United States when in 2022, a young man in Rockland County, New York. Rockland County is a county in New York State, not very far north of New York City. And a young man who is part of a ethnic religious community that does not believe in vaccination became infected with polio and became paralyzed. And he had never left the country. And he was infected with a strain from Pakistan. And he's not a Pakistani, he doesn't associate with Pakistanis. Somehow that strain from Pakistan found its way to Israel, and folks from his community were at a wedding in Israel and came back to his community, and then he caught it because he was not fully immunized. He was not immunized at all. He became infected with polio. And one thing that brings that home to me is that Rockland County is directly across the Hudson River from Westchester County, New York, where my two grandsons live. And so, 20 miles, 30 miles away, by the way, on a straight line, we would say by the way the crow flies, is someone infected with polio. Now, my grandsons don't have to worry because they are fully vaccinated. But there are people in the community who are not. And polio virus became detected in the sewage in New York City and in several neighboring counties. If we stop our polio eradication efforts and just say we've done all we can, within 10 years, the modeling predicts we'll have 200,000 cases of polio every year. And we will spend billions of dollars to control and to immunize, to continue to immunize. Once we eradicate polio and we get a certain point down the road, immunization and will no longer be necessary. So, and I see that, yes, in the comments, Mohammed Ishaq, thank you. I could not come up with his name. Mohammed Ishaq is the member of the International Polio Plus Committee. He is a Rotarian in Afghanistan. And I will bring to his attention that he needs to share what is going on with local Rotarians.
President Mark, thank you very much for your openness, and thank you very much for all answers that you gave to us. And if you have any closing comments, now it's the moment.
Now more than ever, we must provide our financial support to the eradication of polio. Please make your own personal contributions to the Polio Plus effort on a regular basis. Become a member of the Polio Plus Society. Even if there is no Polio Plus Society in your district, make that commitment to contribute at least $100 US each year. Now more than, it is more important now more than ever.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. It was President Mark Maloney, currently chair of the Rotary Foundation Trustees and inspiring leader to all of us. And thank you all for being at this 6th edition of Polio Talks. See you in the next Rotarian year with incoming president of Rotary Foundation Trustees, past President Holger Nock. You will have information on the time. Thank you all, and have a nice evening, day, and morning.
Thank you, Nicola.
Happy birthday, Mark.